Another effect of the Boko Haram insurgency. Niger suffers food shortages and the reality of daily hunger and malnutrition.
In South Africa, protesters take to the streets to draw attention to the nation's high rate of femicide and violence against women.
And students from Senegal build robots for an annual competition to encourage science and math education on the continent. Africa 54 starts right now.
Hello there, I'm Joke Rogers here at Channels Television in Lagos. Welcome to the show as we go around Nigeria and the corners of the continent for an in-depth look at a variety of stories, all happening now.
And I'm Esther Gido-Ewart at the Voice of America in Washington. And while Joke has news from Nigeria and beyond, I'll tell you about some of the reports coming from our VOA journalists. First up, details on an effort for Nigeria to reclaim a certain place in the farming world. Joke?
Yes, thanks. Nigeria's economic growth is improving outside of the oil sector, mainly through agricultural exports. In Ondo State, southwest Nigeria, cocoa farmers are working to improve the quality of their products. Take a look.
Cocoa beans production remains an important aspect of Nigeria's economy. In the 1950s and 60s, cocoa was Nigeria's major foreign exchange earner from several southwestern states in the country, including Ondo, Osun, Ekiti, Oyo, and others in the southern region. By 1970, Nigeria became the world's second largest producer of the crop, and the proceeds were used to develop the southwest region. Following investments in the crude oil sector, Nigeria's performance in the global market has declined. Enlightening farmers on the need to boost production is the essence of this training workshop in Igbaroki, Ondo State. The organizers, while lamenting Nigeria's current position as the seventh producer, say such initiatives should be extended to other cocoa-producing states in the country.
This kind of project is not something that should be limited into, to just two states. Very few states understand it. It's something that should come from the federal. Some of the federal Ministry of Agriculture, cocoa section, they don't even understand what we call certification. So they themselves need to be orientated. When they understand this, then you have to go back to the local farmer to expand to cocoa producing states.
Cocoa farmers attribute the decline in production to other issues such as dry weather, scanty rainfall, and old trees. But the organizers say with regular training on new farming techniques made available to farmers, they can achieve more yield.
The cocoa farmers in the Ola Cocoa Project receive a combination of support. So there's a field officer who is staying in the farming community, and they will provide training every week or every 2 weeks on, for example, pruning or harvesting or anything that needs to happen in the field.
Cocoa has well-defined quality grades based on certain physical characteristics, flavor and yield. While poor quality attracts discounts, good quality attracts premium price. A cocoa merchant emphasizes the need to improve the quality of the Nigerian cocoa beans to meet global standards.
If we sensitize the farmers and they can increase the quality of their cocoa, then definitely they are going to get full price, full money for what they are really supplying. So that's one of the ways that's what we want to achieve, and also achieve increase in the production of cocoa.
The cocoa farmers drawn from cocoa-producing communities in Ondo and Osun states will also get access to new seeds, planting of new trees and fertilizer to boost production in order to boost the nation's capacity to earn more foreign exchange from the crop.
Joining us now for more on the need to diversify the Nigerian economy away from oil is an associate professor from the Department of Economics, University of Lagos, Dr. Oludiran Akinleye. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
My pleasure.
Well, Nigeria's economy is projected by the Central Bank of Nigeria to be driven mainly by the non-oil sector. How would you react to this?
Investment in non-oil agriculture lately has actually been increasing. and the rhetoric coming from the government is favorable in that respect. The fear from those of us that practitioners in this industry is that the rhetoric is directly tied to the fortunes or indirectly related to the fortunes of the oil industry. So when oil prices are down, the government gets serious about investment in the non-oil sectors and vice versa. But yes, lately there has been increasing investment in key non-oil sectors like agriculture. I know some considerable effort has been put into developing value chains along the agricultural processes. Tourism, there's the new talk of setting Nigeria to be a tourism hub within the subcontinent and all of that. So yes, there's some investment, but one hope that is going to be sustainable in the long run.
Clearly, Nigeria's comparative advantage lies outside oil and gas resources. How much of this is being utilized in terms of international trade?
It's very poorly utilized. Much of agricultural production in Nigeria or agricultural business in Nigeria is still primary. People grow crops and they sell them. But we need to move the industry into a place where, the bulk of production is not only consumed in its raw form, but is also processed for longer storage. This is all the more important when you consider the Nigerian and African diaspora, for whom local foods, which are not available in temperate climates, are still very much desired. So the key issue would be, moving production or moving the industry away from primary production to processing and value addition, especially for the key crops and staples.
The impact of low global oil prices is evident in our foreign reserves. What should the government and the business sector be doing to increase our capacity to generate foreign exchange outside of oil?
For me, I think the government should do more by doing less. Up until recently, people tied development in the country to the size of the public sector. That has since been disproven. And so what the country needs to do now is to create an environment that allows business to thrive, basically a business-friendly environment. In the last month or so, the acting president actually signed 3 executive orders and is doing, some major lobbying with public servants to make it easy for people to do business in Nigeria. I know when the index by the World Bank, or the index on conducting ease of doing business, Nigeria is someplace at the very, very back of the list. So if the government can, make it much easier for investors to find their feet and get their business up and running, cut the red tape and all of that, then, we would have gone some way to improve the fortunes of the industry.
All right, thank you. Dr. Oludinran Akinleye at the University of Lagos. Thank you for joining us on Africa 54.
All right, then. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Joke. What do you think about the stories we cover? Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54, and check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Coming up, Uganda's government finds itself at odds with an eastern tribe after an official threatens to ban the tribe's centuries-old rite of passage. That story after the break.